Hello, my name is Ansumana Bachi, and I'm currently a sophomore at Bowie State University, and I'm an athlete at Bowie State University. And this is my story. Being a student athlete is much more difficult than being a regular student. Now, hear me out. Over the years, student athletes stood out as individuals who went above and beyond the standard. They faced challenges like balancing their academic responsibilities with competitive sports. Students who don't do extracurricular activities have their own difficulties as well. But I believe it's not as great as student athletes and what they have to go through. So today I'll be explaining the difficulties student athletes go through on a daily basis compared to regular students. Most of us know the difficulties of what it takes being a student athlete. Now, show of hands, who can put their hand up and say they were an athlete or used to be an athlete? So, most of you guys know the challenges of what it takes to be the best at your sport and the things you're willing to do for it. And on top of that, being a student. That leads me to my first point, which I stated earlier, which is balancing both being a student athlete and an athlete. While regular students mainly focus on their academics, student athletes face the challenges of striking a delicate balance between their studies and sports. They are expected to maintain a certain level of academic performance, excel in examinations, meet assignment deadlines while all attending practices and competing in games. I always had good grades when I was in high school, being able to balance sports with my academics, sports in high school. But it wasn't that much of a struggle. It was until I got to college and my freshman year this past fall. College made me realize how hard it was balancing the two, and it made me focus more on one than the other due to how stressful it was. I ended up focusing more on football and chose to put my academic on the side, and the results showed. I was improving in the weight room and I was getting better on the field while my grades were sinking. By the end of the semester, I failed 3 out of my 5 classes. I don't want to tell you guys how horrible my GPA was, just know it was lower than the 1.0. My fall semester stressed me out through the winter break, and it made me think how can I do better. So all my stress made me change my major, and that leads me to my next point, which is mental health. Student athletes often face immense pressure and challenges that can have a significant impact on their mental health. The expectation to excel both academically and athletically, coupled with demanding schedules and the balancing act between their sports and studies, can lead into can excrete can excuse me increase stress, anxiety, and feeling overwhelmed. In the article Higher Ed Drive by John McVeigh, he states that 24% of males and 36% of female athletes felt so depressed that it was difficult to function. According to the annual survey of the NCAA, unfortunately, athletes fear losing scholarships, paying time, or even their degree. So it should take their mental health, leave, or suffer an injury. This depicts that mental health is still known and hasn't left. Luckily, here at Bowie State, we have a coach that specializes in mental health. Once every week, our coach would make all the freshmen meet. We would talk about literally anything. He mainly wanted to know how we were feeling and how our lifestyle was. And having a coach who talked about mental health was much needed, especially for me, since I felt like I was at my lowest during the fall. I wish we met more during the week as a team, and that leads me to my next point, which is time management. Time management is one of the most important things when going to college, especially to student athletes, due to them not only doing academics, but also their athletics. I remember when my coach told us that your education comes first. You are a student first. You can have the education in football, but you can't have football because you need to be eligible in order to play. I took his words and kept it with me through the spring because all my fall semester gave me a taste of what it meant to be, and I didn't want to be ineligible after the fall. I just focused on the spring, trying to do better academically. Although I got my grades up, I did poorly in the spring due to my classes, and result and the results show. This is why I say it's more difficult being a student athlete than being a regular student. I know some of you guys are furious at me telling me that students also have their own struggles, and I agree. Some of my classmates that aren't student athletes have their jobs after school doing something else, or they have to take care of a family member at home. I know we all have lives, but I'm trying to point out that student athletes just do more. They physically and mentally train their bodies throughout each week. They subject themselves to rigorous training sessions, really, especially physical work and also physical workout and intense competition. The physical demands placed on student athletes are often underestimated, and they must maintain their fitness levels, overcome injuries, and push their bodies to the limit. Also, on top of that, I have to attend meetings and study plays. In conclusion, student athletes truly know the essence of hard work and dedication. Although regular students have their own difficulties, as I stated before, it's not as manageable as what student athletes go through week in and week out. Their commitment to both academics and sports sets them apart from regular students, and they navigate the unique challenges of balancing demand schedules and making sacrifices to achieve success. The remarkable time management skills, physical and mental endurance, and on top of that, their mental health separates them from the norm. The dedication and work ethic displays by them and serve as an inspiration to all of us. And we hope that they continue to inspire the next generation and the next on. Most importantly, we hope that the world can recognize the importance of mental health support for student athletes, and then as it enables them to cope with challenges, develop healthy coping mechanisms, and maintain their overall well-being. So, my name is Ansumana Baji, and I thank you guys for listening to my story.